Hey everyone, in this video we're going to look at Josh Waitzkin's first national championship. He was either 7 or 8 years old, and just how easily he could have spotted the opponent's tactics if Josh had just considered what could the tactics be. So start, Josh is white, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, and then his opponent David Arnett went knight d4. He prepared this trap, and so since it was unusual and it was the national championship, Josh thought, I'm up a pawn, so he took it. And also the knight and bishop are threatening this f7 point. Now, if you're playing in the national championship and someone offers you a free pawn, you think, well, what's the idea? You know, the black knight doesn't have any compensation. It's not doing anything. So what's the idea? So if you just think, if there's a trap, how would you take advantage of a trap? You have this knight that's undefended, as this pawn's undefended, and his bishop moves, so this pawn is undefended. So those are the weak points, and black has a knight. It can't do anything with that. It has a bishop, it can attack the knight, but that's it. And then there's a queen. So a queen could attack a knight, could attack the knight, or it could attack a knight and a pawn. That's all Josh had to do to see, was there some sort of trap here? But Josh just was not in that mindset. He's kind of frantically taking a pawn. So let's see how this trap works. So if white takes on f7, black king moves. Now the queen is still threatening the knight and the pawn, but if the knight moves, then the king can take the bishop, so you'll still lose a piece. And if the knight forks the queen and the rook from f7, it looks really good, but the queen can take this, and if the knight takes the rook, then black can take the rook here, and it's very dangerous for the king. The bishop has to block, white can check, and yeah, if the queen goes here, you lose it, and if the bishop goes there, then you can check here, and either black will win white's queen, or black will win a rook. There's something I'm missing here, but the point is, this fork, it looks good, but it's not. So white decides the only possible way to try to save the knight and this g2 pawn is to block on g4. And so white was just trying to hold everything together. But if Josh had looked for tactics, it's not hard to find again, because we have the knight. It's defended by the queen, so right now it's not hanging, but it's out in the open. Then we have a pawn, and then we have a bishop that's undefended. So is there a way to attack this undefended bishop and do something else? How do we attack this? The only way is pretty much push the pawn to b5 or d5. And if we go to d5, then this bishop is now attacking the knight. So just thinking, how can we make use of an unguarded knight and a bishop? You attack them both at the same time. The only way to do that is d5. So if Josh just thought there, he'd see that you lose a piece here. And then to defend, Josh just accepted the loss of the knight and just in return for a nice placed bishop, but now white has one piece and black has 3 pieces in the center, and the queen is being threatened. The only way to guard that is to block it on f3, and the bishop goes back, and now the only threat right here is g2. Josh is smart enough to see that, but you could play g3, or you could play rook g1, and if you're evaluating them, say what does black have after as a follow-up? Well, the rook moves here. Where was the rook on h1? What was it guarding? h2. So when you move, you change the situation. Say, look, this h2 pawn is weak now, and what else is weak? The king and this diagonal. How do you attack both the king and the pawn on h2? Right? You have a queen, you just go over here and attack both. So it's not too hard to find. But Josh and Josh has the ability, even as like a 7-year-old prodigy, Josh can find it. But Josh is just freaking out. Just wasn't able to actively look for these threats. So then Josh moves the king over, black takes the free pawn, and it's much more than the free pawn. It's really invading white's kingside space, and now this king is going to be really exposed, especially given these 2 bishops are going to be slicing into the position. So after that, now white maybe could try some defending, maybe push this pawn and stop this bishop from being able to invading. But Josh, maybe when he took on d5 earlier, he was thinking, I have the ability to take a pawn and get some counterplay. His king's in serious trouble. He should not be doing counterplay right now. But since Josh is in a state of, I have to find something advantageous that I'm doing well at, takes the pawn. Rook just moves out. The pawn doesn't really, you don't really get anywhere in the side of the board. All of white's other pieces are just stuck on the first rank. And once white moves back, he just loses tempo. So now you've actually given the rook access to the game, and black gets an extra move for a pawn that didn't matter. So now black moves this bishop. Once the knight moves, then the bishop and queen are eyeing this square. And now white plays fair tactic. It's not a good move, but it's trying to do something to throw black off, which is admirable given white's losing so hard. And the best response is to just keep the diagonal and get out of danger. But black decides to take it, and if actually at the beginning this knight moved here, and then white's knight took this pawn. So now white is offering a pawn that seemingly black can just take. But now white has an idea, a desperate idea, that if there's this piece here, there's 3 pieces, and can you attack 2 of the 3? The only way to do it is move this pawn here. Specifically, you gotta attack something here. That's part of the trap, otherwise you wouldn't have played b4. So Josh playing here is like, hey, I'm gonna lure a piece over here, and then I'm going to do a fork and win one of them. So black realized it's okay to lose a rook. Let's continue with his plan so that now the bishop and queen are eyeing the rook. And at this point, white should not take the rook. White should play d4 and get out of this danger. But white takes. And then black takes. King goes here. And the best move, I'd say, would be to go here and continue the attack. Because otherwise you don't want your queens traded when you have an attack and you're so close to winning. But black just wanted to clean up this pawn, and now Josh really should have traded queens. That's not even a tactics mistake, that's just a mistake thinking that he's just in panic panic mode. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because Josh goes here. I don't know why he did that. And that actually allows queen f2 checkmate. Now that these escape routes are, they're blocked. Yeah, so that's the game of how Josh lost his first national championship. After that heartbreaker, he worked really hard, and he won every single national championship after that, became a grandmaster. So his losses taught him a lot, but just notice, like, even though they're 7 years old, they're still strong. They're like, I don't know, 1400 rated, and they're falling for such easy tactics and traps. And I just gave you a taste of how to stop yourself from falling into the same ones. All right, hope you liked it.